Yo, what's on, boy Mitty Jacked? Wajio here, and today I'm here to show off, and I'm super excited to show off my first place OTS locals Mitsurugi Super Quantum, or MITSUPER Quant, deck profile. Went undefeated, well, kind of 401, but you know, time rules. But yeah, super excited that this deck performed. It's been performing. This is the second turn I topped in a row with it. I went second place at the last tournament I went to with it. And this is it's 2 for 2. It's the second time I played it. So yeah, the deck is super fun, insane. The two engines mesh well really together. And yeah, before I start, for Super Quant side, shout out to my boy Plus Infinite. He has an amazing guide, which I'll link down below, that you should really check out if you're interested in the Super Quants. And also shout out to my prizing. That was a crazy pull. Alright, anyways. So for starters, for the Super Quant stuff, if you watch Plus Infinite's video, which he goes over like how you play the deck sort of thing. It's not just a deck profile, like it's really, really important for knowing this deck. It's pretty similar to his ratios and how he explains it. So I'll just go over those. Only on 2 Alphan. You only really need 2. As he says in the video, you don't want to clog with normal summons. But this guy, you need at least 2, because you're going to banish 1 in your combo. But yeah, once per turn, you can target a Super Quant you control and then just change everything to that thing's level, which comes up for Fair Limp lines. But the main effect is you tribute it, and then you choose 3 different Super Quants from your deck, and your opponent randomly specials 1 to your hand, or to your field, not to your hand, and send the rest to the grave. Just a very solid card, and a main combo piece, as with most of these. The next card, 2 Zayton. This is the first new guy. They're really, really powerful. He's just an extender, but he's also a starter. You summon him if you control a Super Quant, and copy the level if you want. But the main thing is you can tribute him and his cost send from deck to grave with non-dark Super Quant card, not monster. So you can send the spell that grabs the field spell, which I'll get to. And then E-Telly any Super Quant from deck. Really, really crazy. Speaking of E-Telly, 2 blue layer. You only need 2 because this is part of the reason you only need 2 of each thing. You don't want to clog up your hands, and you can just recycle blue layer a bunch. Because whenever it's sent to grave, you target 3 Super Quant cards in your grave and shuffle them back. But on normal or special, she searches any Super Quant card, which is just insane. A level 3 Psychic for E-Telly, and for Water Psychic for Minimalian. On to the one of. The only one of is green layer. You don't need more than 1, but this is for Mitsurugi lines. It's for your level 4. And to unclog your hands with this grave effect. The next guy, 2 red layer. Like I said, you only need 2 of anything in the deck. It's really weird to see in your opening hand, because its most known effect is you can summon it like a Cyber Dragon. But when it's summoned, you target a Super Quant engrave and add it back to hand. But obviously, if it's your first action, which it usually will be if you want to use it as an extender, you don't have anything engrave. So it's really awkward in that sense. But obviously, every effect of this comes up. Even just the extra body, so you have a layer 19 target comes up, is really good. And obviously, the grave effect to revive, but it can activate its effects is still insane. Now on to level 7s. I'm on 2 white layer. This is, I guess, relatively not really new anymore, obviously, but not first wave support, but really good regardless. On summon Foolish is a Super Quant, and then copies its level and attribute, so it only has to change 1, but yeah. But that's one of the relevant effects. The other one is when it's sent to grave at all. Any of these, by the way, if they're sent to grave at all, doesn't matter. Any of the layers, doesn't matter where from or how, it's just if they're sent to grave at all, they get their other effects. This one searches Alphan from deck or grave. Really, really powerful, and especially how it's played through Droll. 2 copies of black layer, you only need 2, but you could run 3 for turn 0 plays. It's crazy new legacy support. It's your turn 0 play. If your opponent faces a monster effect, and even just on your turn, if you get hand trapped, you can quick effect discard a card, not as cost, Keep that in mind to special it. And then if it's specialed, you can summon any of the Xyzs with it as material, and then attach another Super Quant from grave as material, which is just insane. Honestly, like, sometimes you just get into control matches where you summon red layer, add back black layer, and then you just have crazy follow-up, because that's just like 2 interruptions on its own. So yeah. Speaking of insane cards, oh, I forgot to mention when you sent to grave, very important, searches a spell, which will 99% of the time be this, layer 19, which is basically just an E-Telly if you control another Super Quant, but it can't be the same attributes to the stuff you control. And that means any monster, not even just Super Quants, which throws you off with some lines, because this deck is also on like a Fiendsmith line to get to Caesar. So if you want to summon blue layer with this, make sure you summon it first before you summon the Caesar, because it's a water. But most of the time you'll be fine with this. As long as you practice your combos and know what you're doing, it's fine. The other 2 effects aren't very relevant. One switches something to defense, and the other one sets a trap from deck, which actually I've thought about running, and I want to get on this side if I find mine. But it's there's like this one equip spell that buffs up any of your guys by their rank times 100. So it helps you out Liger Dancer, pretty much. That'd just be your answer. But very niche, I know, but can come up. But the main effect is the E-Telly. On to the rest of the spells. 1 each Magna Carrier and Alpha Strike. This is like the bread and butter of the deck. It just, when on once per turn, discards a card, targets a Super Quant you control, and overlays on top of it with the same attribute. Very necessary for a lot of combos. Sometimes you don't even need it for this variant, which is crazy. But the second effect you always do. You send it to grave as cost and target 3 Super Quant... What is it? Super Quanto Mech Beast Xyz monsters, different names, on your field or in your grave. Keep that in mind. And if you do, summon the big guy, Big Magnus, and then attach all of them with their materials to his material. So that's how you get the big guy so high with all of his effects. Just a crazy, crazy card. Yeah, the graveyard effect came out for me yesterday in my finals against Orchist. He had an IP'd Ellen Gearsu, and I didn't really have a good way to out it. Except for, like, I guess, like, Engraver, but I didn't really have access to that line, I think, at the time. So, and to go for lethal. I forget what the purpose, or what the reasoning was, but regardless, I had to set up a Magnus to shuffle his thing back, and I had to attach from grave, because he took it with England Gearsu, I think. So I had to send it to grave, and that was just how it went. So, yeah, Magnus OP, Magna Carrier OP. Speaking of good cards, Alpha Strike. This is a card you used to not run at all, because it wasn't a way to send it to grave, and now that there is, it's a mandatory one of. Its on-field effect, you like almost never resolve, even though I have once and it won me a game. It wasn't during the tournament, but it was a funny game. But the main effect is you banish it from grave with an Alphan to activate the field spell from deck. So this deck, honestly, like, sometimes you don't even care about draw. As long as you get your searches at the right time, draw isn't like the biggest issue, which is why the Mitsurugi package is nice, because they both complement each other. And I'll get to other stuff after, but yeah. The Super Quant side, a lot of stuff, you can still make like good plays through draw, which I really like. I got drawed, I think, I want to say like 60% of my games, and I still, or sorry, 50% I think, and then like I won most of the games I got drawed anyways, because I won the tournament. But yeah, like, you still set up so much through draw, and then if you draw your opponent back, or if you just set up Magnus, like, that's just a draw anyways. So yeah, like, this deck is genuinely so much better than I thought it was. On to, I guess, honorary cards. We got triple E-Telly and quadruple E-Telly. E-Telly is better though, but I'll get to that in a sec. E-Telly, you use it in draw phase almost all the time to get your blue layer. That's basically it. So you play around draw a lot better. If you just open E-Telly, there's a way to get to Caesar and Magnus. So very, very nice. And same goes for Minimalian, except it plays worse in the draw and you go nega card. But I think it's still worth running the 1, just for A, consistency, and B, doesn't use normal summon, which is the reason why you wouldn't run a 3rd blue layer and you run this instead. Like, sometimes it's worth to go to the neg card almost all the time. It won me a game, so the one game I opened it. And then on to, like, genuinely the best normal summon in this deck is 3 Diviner. Holy, this card is so crazy for not just Super Quant, but also Mitsurugi. Searches Habakiri, and then you tribute it with the Habakiri after summoning Saji to get Alphen out of deck. It's, like, genuinely a crazy, crazy card. I love it. It's nuts. Every time I resolved it, I won the game. Gets you way too much off 1 card, and then on top of the other stuff you have in hand, if you open Italy, then you set up Fiendsmith combo for normal summoning Diviner. And it's just like, what do they do, you know? It's pretty crazy. And then I'm also on 1 Trias, just because if you already open Habakiri, you don't want to play into Droll. And she's a light fairy, that's a light fairy, and this a light fairy. I guess it doesn't matter if it's light, but they're all fairies. Yeah, just fairy monsters. So you can theoretically in the grind game, if you have another Diviner for follow-up, you can send Trias, and then you easily get back Alphen and White Layer, and then you get all the effects off of this. But didn't resolve that in the game, just in like testing. But yeah, it's just to play around Droll better. And then the honorary 1 engraver, the mandatory 1 engraver, I guess. Shouts out again to Plus Infinite for this, but all you really need is an engraver to make Caesar. So I guess it was kind of like obvious that you can, but I didn't really like think about that. I was thinking like you need the full Fiendsmith package, but you really just need 1 engraver, 1 Requiem, a Moon, and a Necro Clip. And that gets you into Caesar, and that's more than enough for this deck. On to the Mitsurugi stuff. It's pretty minimal for Mitsurugi package, but let's go over it quick. Triple Habakiri, 1 Murakumo. Like I said, very minimal, but you know, you want to see Habakiri as much as possible, so this is like best card in the game. This is second best card in the game, not really, but these are this best card in the game. But this is still a crazy, crazy card. I guess just in case you don't know, if they're ever tributed, you add and then you can special, so it doesn't have to be properly summoned. You can still get the add. But this guy, once per duel, summons a Mitsurugi from deck and then tributes a monster you control, and they all get effects when they're summoned or tributed. So, yeah, I'm just talking through this, but I'm sure most of you guys know what Mitsurugi stuff does. And then Murakumo, the same tribute effect, but this one's a negate unless your opponent discards a card, Omni negate, and if he's summoned Regeki. And 3200, which is crazy. On to little guys, I'm on these 3, no Aramasa, because you do not need it for this deck. The main goal of the Mitsurugi package is to not only play Mitsurugi, but also get a free rank 4 and a free rank 8 without your normal summon, and to synergize with Diviner. That was the main thing with it, but it's also very good because I might as well give an example. To play through D-Barrier, my game 3 against one of the Vanquish Soul opponents I played, I guess the only one from that tournament, game 3, I opened Feather Duster and he set a bunch of pass. It was kind of like an unfortunate hand anyways, but still would have been really tough because I Feather Dustered and he not E-Tellied, D-Barrier, I don't know why I said E-Telly. And while I had Super Quant plays in hand, which I can still just do anyways, I activated Prayers, and game 3 was the first time he saw the Mitsurugi stuff. Because game 1, he like had Exodia pretty much on my turn 1, and I couldn't play through it. It was just like a crazy, crazy hand. Game 2, I had set up Magnus, I'm pretty sure, and he just couldn't out it. And then game 3 was when the Mitsurugi stuff came out. I activated Prayers, and he was like, oh, fuck, okay. But yeah. This is all you really need. Night Sword Serpent's in here for the rank 4, and I'll get into the rank 8s I chose when I get to the extra deck. 3 prayers and 1 ritual. Like I said, very minimal. Prayers I like. I'm not on the pre-prep package, just because it plays worse in the Droll. Although I have been debating it and bumping this up to 60. By the way, this is 52 cards, which sounds bricky, but I have not bricked once with this deck. Surprisingly enough, just because there's so many starters and so many extenders that the deck, it just plays really smooth at 50. But yeah, the 1 ritual, you just need it. And yeah, 3 prayers so you can search and draw phase, but also just it's prayers. And it's your end board piece too, obviously. On to the non-engine, which is also why this is up so high. Triple Fua, the 3 ofs, triple Ash, triple Droll. I think just pretty well staple this format. I could be on Perulia, but it's just in my side. Figured there was just more important non-engine I wanted, especially for like to test with this format. But yeah, I feel like these 3 are like the power 9, I guess, even though Ash would be Perulia. Oh, these are reversed. I'm on crossout called by. Might as well do this first. You know, crossout called by. Not really much else to say there. And then 2 of 2 Imperm, 2 Nib. I just figured these would be pretty solid, and these did come up. Imperm won me my game against my Orcus matchup. He couldn't Gear Su effect, and he just unfortunately couldn't play through too much else. I had Lancia anyways, but yeah, it just like he set up like an alright board, but I had so much gas in my hand. He also didn't know I was on Mitsurugi until then. So that's also the advantage of this deck too, right? Like they think you're on Super Quant until you're not, and then you just do so much. And then obviously Nibiru just comes up. On to the extra deck. I'm going to start off with the man himself, Super Quantal Mech King Great Magnus. If he's ever sent to, I'll just go over his effects. If you're ever sent to grave, you can revive 3 your mechs. But they can't attack while they have material. Well, they don't have material, so they're just bodies. If he has 2 or more materials, he can quick effect shuffle. Also with different names, keep in mind. So if you ever have duplicate materials, which Plus Infinite goes over in the video, always attach your duplicates first, because you want to keep the count up on his effect. Yeah, 2 or more quick effect shuffle during the main phase, non-target, which is fantastic. Won me my finals against the Orcus player because he made an IP Dealing Gear Su, and I have ways to out it, but this was obviously the best way to do it by the end of my combo, and it just gave me enough for lethal, so okay, I'll just make it. 4 or more unaffected by card effects except Super Quant cards, and keep in mind it's not just activated effects, so things like Baguska this doesn't care about. It's very, very annoying to out this guy, and especially because if he has 6 more materials with different names, your opponent cannot add cards to the deck to their hand by card effect at all, like period. Not even just drawing, so it's just your normal draw during your draw phase is when you get the draw. And no more searching, and he's unaffected, so it's just you better have the out. Every time I summoned him, I won the game, so just insane. But I think that's like the biggest known thing about obviously this archetype is that this big fucker is a big fucker. Anyways, on to these little mechs, I guess. These are my ratios. 1 blue, 1 green, 1 red, and then sure, that's Exodia. It's not really, but yeah. So I run 1 of each of these, the 3, 4, 5, and then 2 of the 7s. Mainly because the 7s are the ones you go through the most, especially with black layer and white layer. Turn 0 black layer, pitch white layer comes up. Obviously any of the other layers comes up too, but this is, yeah. And also, like, it's not, I was going to say it's the most common, but obviously it just, whatever one comes up, because you're on 2 of everything, so not green layer obviously, but I'll get into that. But yeah, usually you're summoning it on like, sometimes you have to summon it on turn 1 to get your combo. Like you summon it, overlay into this with your black layer, and then attach something from grave, and then detach the black layer to search a spell. And this one doesn't neg you anything when you detach compared to the rest. So yeah, that's why it's the 2 of. These 2 are pretty standard. I would run a second Magna Liger, but there's not really extra deck space, so I was on 2 Magna Liger, 1 Lestrex, and it bit me in the ass one game, so not the tournament, but another tournament. But this guy is usually not played that much, but I'm on him because A, I'm on the green layer, but most importantly B, your Mitsurugi combo sets up this guy with 2 materials, and then obviously you can attach for a 3rd one if you have a spare guy, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it sets up that with a monster negate, with your Mitsurugi stuff. So yeah, very, very good for this build. He's the one that I went into the most, definitely, because of the Mitsurugi stuff. But Lestrek's also insane. On to, I believe, yeah, the Fiendsmith stuff. Just on Caesar, I think I explained it earlier. Just these 4. That's all you need. And Requiem, he says in the video that Requiem's the only one you really need. That's expensive. And yeah, he's right. Like, it baits out, also just nice that it baits out Ash Blossom. Like, so much. Every Ash, I think this thing ate half the Ashes from my tournament, and I could just full combo anyways. Just insane. I don't know. It's the Fiendsmith package. On to the, I guess, Mitsurugi rank 4, or Xyzes. King of the Fair Olymps, because there is, I'll probably make another video about a line, or I guess, you know, generic combo line that gets you to the Mitsurugi stuff with King of the Fair Olymps, because what you do is you summon Green Layer, summon Alphen from hand, copy the level to make everything level 4, and then overlay for King of the Fair Olymps. I forget if I explained that earlier or not, but yeah, that's how you do it. For the rest, Photon Lord, Zombie Vampire. This is the monster negate I was talking about. You end on this, and then a prayer set, and then the rank 4, and then you just do normal Mitsurugi stuff. Or, not Mitsurugi stuff. Normal Super Quant stuff. But yeah, this is crazy good protection. Zombie Vampire is in case you only open Mitsurugi and you want to dig for Super Quant stuff. Not 100% necessary, but I definitely wouldn't cut it. At least not right now, but I don't see why you would. 1 Herald is for searching off the, or sending off Diviner. Grab the Habakiri. And then SP, this technically came up once, but I did lose the game. So I think I'm going to cut this, especially for how the meta is going to end up, and especially with Lunalight being a deck, and this, I feel like this deck is going to have a hard time to deal with. Liger Dancer is probably going to be an Underworld Goddess, so I can pair it with Moon. Yeah, SP, like, I've only summoned it once, and I didn't win the game. But obviously, SP is SP. That's why it's in here, because generic and good. And yeah, side deck was just very generic. I think the most notable card, obviously Lancia, but also Salesman. Salesman is nice to side in for going first, and obviously going second, depending on the matchup, like, I guess, like any Fiendsmith pile, I guess. You can call Desiree, or like Rizio called Detonator. Crazy card. But yeah, that is my Super Quant Mitsurugi list. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys want anything else on this, I'm so happy this deck performed the way it did. Any changes I make to the deck other than the Underworld Goddess? I don't think so right now, until I find like a, until I find a glaring weakness with the deck. I think I just have to play with it more, because like I said, this is like my first week not even playing with this deck, and it's performing like crazy good. Just being able to get to this guy in any of the games is broken. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Shouts out players, shouts out all the boys at players, you know who you are. And yeah, Mini Jack signing out. See you.